Hey everyone, my name's Jay, and as always, thank you for checking out Flippin' for Mick. And if you really enjoy this, I'd appreciate it if you'd click on that like button down there. And while you're clicking, you can go ahead and click on the subscribe button as well to get alerts when I post new videos. And if you've already done that, thank you very much. Now, a quick recap, starting with this $10 stack of cards that I had owned since Jimmy Carter was president. And yep, that makes me feel damn old when I say it that way. And $0 out of my pocket, I've created a pot of more than $500 in just over a month. Now that's great progress, and it's really cool that I'm already able to afford a pretty decent mantle, again, with nothing out of my pocket. But at this pace, it'll take me several years to afford a 52 mantle. Now obviously, that's a card worth the wait, and I don't really have a deadline, so that doesn't bother me. But as the pot grows, I'll be able to make larger purchases, and if I can maintain a solid profit margin, that will accelerate the process. You know, one of my favorite comedians is Stephen Wright. Oh, hey dude. And one of my favorite lines of his is, "Everything is within walking distance if you have enough time." And that is definitely true. And secondly, I'd like to apologize for that terrible Stephen Wright impression. But anyway, that's the case here. I'll absolutely be able to afford a 52 at some point by doing what I'm doing, but I'd like to be able to get that done before I turn 80. In other words, time is money. And that kind of sums up a couple transactions in this episode. Question, is it better to make $50 or $90? Hold that thought for about 5 minutes and let's see. So, first, I turned over a few more graded star cards. As I mentioned in an earlier episode, I'm helping a couple folks put together graded sets. I have their list of what cards they need and what their target prices are on those cards. And when I find cards in the list, I buy them, I'll let the folks know what I bought, and they pay me. Generally within a day of buying the cards, and sometimes within a matter of seconds. So with these few cards, I was able to buy and resell them immediately, making a quick profit of 50 bucks. True arbitrage. And that brought the pot up to $575. Very, very nice. So next, I love flipping sets, especially 73s. But I don't have quite enough money in the pot yet to buy a decent 73 set. I need to get up in the $700, $800, $900 range for that. But that's actually what gave me the idea for this channel. About a year ago, I started buying 73 sets, keeping the near mint or better cards, and reselling the rest. For example, I'd buy a set for 700 bucks, find 50 cards or so to keep for myself, and sell the rest for like 900. So that not only gave me a bunch of cards in the set for free, it also put $200 aside to spend on stars. And over the past year, I bought and sold around a dozen or so sets, and I'm now just about 70 cards short of a near mint set. And I have graded versions of all the stars and major cards, all with no money invested in it. So, since I didn't have enough money in the pot to buy a 73 set here, I bought my second favorite set, a 78. Love the 78s. Went online, found a nice near mint plus version for just 215 bucks. That's a pretty solid deal for a 78 set, especially when the stars that they showed look like this. So I was pretty sure I could turn this and get around 300 bucks for it, make 80, 90 bucks or around 40% profit. But from doing all those 73 sets, I know it's going to take me around 3 weeks to turn that whole set. And the process is basically the same whether it's a 73 set for 700 bucks, a 78 set for 200, or an 89 Fleer set for 15 bucks. So first, I post the major cards since they get a lot of quick action. So in this case, posted Murray, the Molitor Trammell, and the Ryan. And within 48 hours of getting this set in the mail, I'd sold the Murray for $33, the Molitor for $50, and the Ryan for $20. So just over $100 made, or about half of what I spent. Great start for the first 48 hours. Now next, I always go through the commons when I buy a set and do a quick grading myself, because as this set was advertised as Near Mint Plus, that's never the case that all the commons match that. So these piles are my estimates of the cards in piles ranging from X5 through Near Mint Plus 8. As you can see, I probably had 160 or so Near Mint Plus, not bad, 180 to 200 each of the Near Mint and X Mint, and then 80 or so X range. And yeah, there were a handful of creased cards and filler grade that I just put aside and I'll figure out something to do with them. And when I do my grading, I try to be conservative with my condition estimates. When I sell them, I'd rather have happy buyers saying they didn't expect them to be so nice, as opposed to the other side, questioning why I graded them that way. So when I post this Near Mint Plus batch, I'll actually call it Near Mint and Near Mint Plus, kind of a mix. Anyway, so I posted that stack and I got $30 for them. And then also sold a few other stars and rookies. So 5 days into having this set, I've made $195 and I still have all of these cards left to go. So I'm down to a bunch of commons and some minor stars in there and a couple subsets. So I'm still shooting to top that $300 mark, or around a 50% profit. But again, it comes down to time is money. So I made $50 in a matter of minutes, and in this 78 set, I'm gonna make around $90, but it's gonna take me 2 to 3 weeks to do it. So in this case, that $50 is better than the 90 in my opinion, because I can keep turning that around. But I'm not going to argue with making $90 on this set. So again, when I get to the minor stars of this, I could post those individually and make, $1, $2, or even $3 a card. But by that point, again, just to get through this set, I will probably post them in lots, 9 cards or so at a time, and try to get $5 or $6. So after the cards I've sold, I've again almost broken even, and now the pot is come back up a little bit to $554. So a little bit of a slow week, up some from last week, but not a huge gain. But I have the rest of this 78 lot to go, and it's already paid for and accounted for in there. So that's going to add another $100 to the pot. And I just picked up a couple 73 lots that I'm going to go through that we'll talk about next time. So with not much change, we're still at the same level of Mantles as what we could afford last time. So again, the question comes down to Mick or no Mick? Nothing's changed, guys. It's definitely still no Mick. And as always, I thank you for watching, and I'd really appreciate it if you could click on those like and subscribe buttons, and feel free to share with your friends. And until next time, my name's Jay, and I'm flipping for Mick.